Newport Beach, California, February 2020. Current. So if you ever come to Newport Beach, you are identifying current as you sail out. I don't know if you can see me here, but I am going sideways very quickly. So what that means is, well, this current's going out until 3:30, very strong. This is going to be a big, burly current day. So what this means is, and the wind is coming from over here pretty much all day. West is that way, southwest is that way, and we're going to be right in between, I think, about 6 to 8 knots. It's going to make upwind very long. It's going to make it hard to get around the windward mark. We're going to watch the windward marks and see if lots of boats are hitting it. That's usually a good indicator. We talked about how the current will affect the leeward marks and the leeward gates, if there are gates. So anyway, as you sail out in Newport Harbor, make sure you know the current. Today, the magnitude of the current is about, it's a 101 on the magnitude scale, which means very, very strong current today. Race 1 in the C3 fleet. We're off Lido Island Yacht Club. You're gonna see the committee boat end and the pin end and see me drifting backwards very, very quickly. There's, yeah, they just called Celeste over. That's fine. It's okay to be over right now. She's gonna drift right back. Beauty. There's Fen right there and 1019. Fen has 2 coaches, me and the San Diego Yacht Club coach. So our goals for today are acceleration, getting the boat moving, getting flow over the leeboard, and then going close haul. That was good. Fen started well. Celeste started well. Celeste probably dropped down a little too far, but I'm happy. Front row. I'm very happy.
Andy, that looks good.
I would have started where 9536 is, just a little away from the committee boat, just because the pin end was further downwind, but I'm happy.
Yes.
So Fen is in about 2nd or 3rd. Celeste in 4th-ish. Just looking outstanding. There's the mark, right? Can't see it now, but our goal is big time. Do not overstand. Don't be the first boats to the starboard ley line all the time. We're using that as a practice skill. People that go to the ley line early, regularly, generally lose at least half the time. Now Ben should be tacking. The current's very strong, so I don't mind them digging in a little bit extra. But Celeste should be going right now. Yeah, Ben should have gone there. That was a header. A lot of info for a seven-year-old, but that was a header for Ben, so he should have just rolled on to starboard. And look at her. Celeste is doing excellent. We'll see if she makes the mark in this strong current.
Yes, we are. Thanks, guys.
Celeste is on a shy ley line, just like I was asking her to do. Ben is just in charge. Celeste is a little slow, so maybe the mainsail's just a little tight right here. Ben, nice work. Okay, Celeste is going to round 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with one boat that hit the mark. So I'm very happy. Nice work.
Starting pin. Down
First place in
Harbor
race
Island.
1.
Okay.
Second,
now,
third,
in the middle of the
4th.
time. That's right now.
We're going to
We're
see
done.
how
We're
Celeste
done.
does here with Fen. It looked like Fen had a little too tight a sail. Celeste just cremated right there. Now, which end was favored at the start was the committee boat end. Whoever started at the committee boat end was better, so we should remember that, and we should be racing for this pin end over here. So as soon as we can make the pin end, overstand it by a little tack and race towards it. You can see me moving sideways into this buoy very quickly. Celeste needs to look at her. Oh, there we go. She probably could tack now and lay the pin end. This is very advanced for C3 though. I'm sure she's not thinking that right now, that the committee boat end was favored at the start, so the pin would be favored at the finish, but we do think about those things when we start and finish on the same starting line. Great job, guys. Great job. End of race 1.
This is the Dick Suite. Come in.
Race 2. Again, watch the starting line as I'm filming here. You're going to see me going right to left quickly, so we have to account for that. The current is the strongest, one of the strongest currents of the year. And here's Celeste again. I told her the biggest difference in that race is that she just let the winner of the race get to the right of her too much at the start. There she goes. She sculled down, accelerate, get flow over the leadboard. Now go. She waited too long to go. That's okay. Better than pinching. Nice start by 9.3. That's a jump out start. 9.334 was close hauled with like 4 seconds to go. So I'm happy. For Fenn, our goal was to not over trim on the reaches. Remember, after the windward mark, whoever can trim the loosest without luffing is going to go the fastest. And he got himself in a pickle at the leeward mark because he was over trimmed. But there's Fenn, started at the other end, and he's just punched it out there, and that's fine. There's less current over there, I think. And there's Celeste working on her roll tacks. Just learned a roll tack about 2 weeks ago. I don't really teach roll tacking for a long time. She went to a clinic and they got her doing it a little. I like it. She might be first. Again, the current is making the upwind's legs longer. So some people ask, how does the current affect the races? It makes the upwind leg longer in this case because we are bucking the current. That means we're against it. It's also going to change the ley lines. It's going to make more people hit the windward mark. So we have to keep our speed up. That's the key to current, is always keep your speed up. Look at this. Fenn and Celeste. So I like what Celeste did here. She's not making the mark. The hard part is not pinching. Gotta keep the speed. Gotta keep the speed with the current. Now she should just stay on starboard all the way to ley line. She should stay on starboard all the way to ley line unless she gets a big wind chill. The key for Celeste here is to not look at the buoy, is just to go fast. We sail what's called VMG. She's pinching right now just a little. Really good tack for a 7-year-old right there. Good, so Celeste should just keep going. She's not making a mark. Keep going and do 2 tacks at the end. This is exactly what we're working on. Celeste on a shy ley line, tack much earlier than Fenn, and if she makes the mark, in hindsight, if she would have just gone another 6 seconds on port and then tacked, she would have a big lead right now. She has a small lead, which is plenty good. Fenn overstood, which was fine. Just, both of you just sailed outstanding. Just absolutely so fun. She needs to hike out a little. Oh my goodness, beautiful. Fenn is very fast, even in bad air. He had a little close call there. He had a port starboard situation with Celeste that he had to really be careful on. He was really close, but they're teammates, so. Now let's see if Fenn does a better job of flying his telltales on this leg. See how the telltales are hanging straight down? That's not good. This is good. Celeste did not jibe, you know. If the boom doesn't want to come across, don't do it. If I was her, I would go ahead and jibe because of the current. Remember, the current's moving you from left to right. So you're not going straight enough at the mark. Fenn is over trimmed, so he should ease out. And that's what our goal was, is to sail with a looser sail. If I was Celeste, I would immediately jibe here and get going on port. She's trying to, Fenn's over trimmed, so if she can get on port and be trimmed looser, she could suck him in and put pressure. That's all her goal is right now, is just put pressure on him a little bit, make him nervous. There we go. But I like the confidence she showed. You gotta trim your mainsail on jibes and tacks. Whenever your mainsail's out, you have to trim it as you tack or jibe. Look at him go, dude. He's just sailing awesome. But you can already see he's getting a little nervous. We're working with him on looking at his sail instead of moving his body. See that? He's getting a little erratic. As soon as you're going good like this, don't move. Only move the tiller. Don't hardly move. I don't want to not teach you to work the boat, but in these conditions right now in a Sabot, we don't work the boat too hard. We get the flow over the lee board and we barely move a muscle. Great job, buddy. Goal for Fenn is when he starts to slow down and people are gaining on him, he should look at his telltales. They're talking to you. They're either saying go straight, go down, or go up. And if you're slow, they're usually telling you to go down a little. We are now on the outside course. I think this is race 2 for the B fleet. I am not sure. We have Maddie Anderson in this fleet, 9969. And then we're also helping 7634. The pin end is favored. The current's very strong where we are. Look at the race committee boat sitting completely sideways to the wind. So this is almost unfair to kids because it's hard to tell how you're gaining or losing. There's so many variables. Look at the wind down here.
10334.
Look at the light air down here. The current is swirling.
10334.
The starting line is way too long. I have no idea why they have a starting line this long. The biggest fleet is 15, 20 boats. I mean, and they have a line for like 35 boats. But I really don't care. The best thing about this sport is that you have to just learn how to deal with all this stuff. I mean, this is just crazy. The current is moving at least 1 knot over here. The wind is bouncing off of this house and wall of this down here, so the wind is very light down here below the line. I don't know where the gates are. I haven't found the gates yet. Okay, here's Maddie Anderson in B Fleet, 2nd B Fleet Regatta. There's Emily right there, 7634. We're working with Emily on flattening the leading edge of her mainsail when she's fast. I can tell she's doing it already. When she's fast, she's pulling the main in a little more, flattening the leading edge of the sail. Maddie kind of naturally does the same thing. With Maddie, we're working on acceleration. We're working on leeward mark roundings. It sounds like we have gates, so maybe they're not going to be as frantic as Sabot Nationals. Sabot Nationals is usually a single buoy as the leeward mark. So they're much harder. That was not a good place to tack. Now the book would say, if we had a book written on this harbor, that would say, get the heck away from this. This is the deep channel we're in. This is where all the big tour boats come. So the book would say, get over there. Get to the left, get out of the current. You have to go quite a ways left to get out of the current. So that's what looks like Maddie's doing, is the left must have paid the last upwind or something, because she tacked in bad air to go that way, and she's actually not doing too bad.